Okay, so we have CourseArc. It should just open to this dashboard and you can click on the biostatistics course. And then here, for your special project, you can add a module. So I'm going to kind of just make a fake module here. So special project, say submit. You can always come back and edit this as well. So don't feel like you have to make it perfect. Okay. So and to do that, if you wanted to do that, you can go to the properties and go ahead and edit. Sorry, my VPN. Okay, go back. Okay, so special project, you can find it. You can always come back to your dashboard or the main biostatistics course page and come back to the special project. And then anytime you're adding a page, it always just starts out with these um, templates, just like open for you. I don't know if this is a style you need. If you are going to use this, just keep it. But if not, what I typically would do is like delete a couple of these so that I can just start fresh with like one page, delete. Yes. If you wanted to change the name of this, again, you can go over to the action, going to the properties. I'm going to keep it just as introduction. I don't know what your special project is or what you are doing, so I don't know how many pages you need, what your titles are going to be, etc. So you can fill this in. And then once it's actually on the page, you want to go over here to edit. And then again, I like always just starting with like a blank slate. So when you come in here to edit, you can just delete. Yes. Delete. Yes. And then I would just add my own block. So I'm going to show you just a few of these. I'm not going to go over all of them just because it would take so long. And CourseArc is also just like really user friendly. So if you want to go over to the ad block, go ad block. And all of these, if you hover over the info button, it'll tell you, give you a brief description of what it is. So say you wanted to, you said flashcards. You can do it with images or without. Let's say you wanted to do it with an image. You don't have to make it with points. Like I don't think I ever did flashcards with points. So I always changed it to 0. And then you can also just change your options here as well. So say you wanted to do, add the image first. It'll take you to this guy. So it always saves the images you upload if you need to refine them, but you can always just upload a new one. So let's say I'm gonna do this guy. It might take its own time. I'm gonna say just for fun, skewness, you can go over your own alt text and actually spend time doing this. It's for accessibility reasons, but let's add it. And then I actually want to choose this image. All right. So you can see the image right there. Let's just say this isn't exactly correct, but I'm going with skewness. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Save it. Oh, you always have to do the alt text, excuse me. And then you can save that excuse me, flashcard. It'll be over here, and then you can always just add another one and continue saving them. Once you're done with that, just go over here to add block, and it'll put it on here. Now, if you want to check your work just to see what everything is like, you actually need to go to just publishing your edits, and then you can actually interact with your material. So flipping the card and seeing how your layout is. And then if you're unhappy with it, you can always just go back into editing the page, click on this guy, go to edit. And then you can either add a new flashcard or go back to the one that you already created and fix it. Okay, so let's cancel that. So now say you wanted to do another block. Let's do add block. This time, Let's do image hotspots, like you mentioned. Again, you can make it worth points. I'm going to select the image. I'm going to upload a new one. This one I want, it's for hotspots. I'm going to use this Z-score. And for all of the work that I did, I just took screenshots of the images that I wanted from either the PowerPoints or the lecture presentations. Again, I don't know what you're doing, so you can kind of adjust however you needed, but I would always just take screenshots of things. And then if I needed to edit them, like edit out words or images that I was going to use for labeling, I would just edit it in Canva or through like my screenshot editing process and kind of remove those. Okay, so alt text, let's just say Z-score. Okay. Okay, so let's choose this one. Choose. Okay, so you can always change how it's going to be sitting on the page, and you'll see this. I'm going to do it left. Okay, so I want to add an item onto the page. I'm going to do this as the Z-score, and then you can the value you are looking for. Okay, let me move this back up. Save and add another. And then let's do view. Oh, what you can do also. You can find, I'm not going to take the time to do it now, but you can find these guys either through adding like your special characters on your keyboard, or I would just kind of copy and paste from another document. And then, oops, excuse me. That is the population mean. Save and add another. Uh, and then we have the population, save. And you can see these here. Every time you add one, it's going to add one of these check marks. All you have to do is move it where you want it on the image. Say you wanted this guy right there. All right. And then you can, of course, resize it. Let's add the block really quick and just see what it looks like. Sometimes it will, let me publish it so that we can interact with it. Sometimes what Coursera will do is you will, it might do this even when I'm showing you like the image labeling. Um, you will put things on the editing screen in a certain spot, and then when you go to actually publish it, it will kind of move it slightly. So a lot of times what I would have to do is kind of um, check it, go back and readjust slightly, check it, go back and readjust slightly. They might have fixed that. I'm not really sure. But you might have, I would just double check your work just to make sure things end up being published exactly where you want them to be. And then to check it, you just need to hover over it and it'll pop up with what you want it to. All right, let's go back to editing. I'm going to add another block. This time, let's do image labeling. So you can, again, make it worth points. So what I'm going to do is, so let's go back and choose this one that we uploaded before. Okay, so say you were going to use this image, but you wanted to add in, like you wanted these to be interactive to be labeled with. So this would be like the original image. And I'm actually going to switch it. That's not actually the image that I want, because I want it to be labeled. So I went in there earlier and just edited that same image so that I took those out. You can see this here. Edited. That is, of course, not the appropriate label that you would want to use for accessibility, but okay, let's choose it. Choose. Okay, so you can see, you can label things right here. So add an item, positive, save and add another, negative, negative. Okay, so you can see how these popped up over here. So you always want to play with things. Okay, let's add block and see, just see what that looks like. Publish. You can also go to preview. I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so I could have made this better. I just did this on the fly. Like, probably can take those completely out and just do this negative skew, positive skew. But that's when you can check like how things are. So I'm going to show you something with the image labeling that you want to keep in mind because I ran into this issue. Say, let's do another ad block. Okay. Image, oops, image labeling. Okay. Then I'm going to do this with this image right here. Okay, so say you wanted to have an image where labels are redundant, right? This is something you need to keep in mind. So add an item. I'm going to do coefficient determination. And then save and add another. Alienation. And then I'm going to do it again because we have two of the same. And again, sometimes you'll move things places and it won't stay at first. Just keep at it. Coefficient of determination. Let's move this one first. Coefficient of alienation. Coefficient of determination. Okay, add it. So it doesn't have a function to where it indiscriminately will take the coefficient of determination redundantly anywhere. Oh, edit. Let me go to publish. So you can move this guy here, and that's great. And now you have two of the same. And so technically all of this is correct, right? But let's say your student or whoever is interacting with it did this, like, because I didn't put these, even though they're identical, because I didn't put these where I had like originally set them in the labeling, it's going to tell me it's wrong, even though it's right. So watch out for things that are redundant. You want to be really mindful of this because it could kind of trip certain things up to where they don't function in the end in the final product the way that you actually want them to. So that's another reason why it's always really good to come back and test um, that it is actually working and go back and edit if you need to. So in this case, I would just take one of these away um, so that they're not left with that, like, it's always going to be correct. Okay, so let's go back to edit. Another thing you can do, say you wanted to take a graph or an image and then kind of have a problem or text about that image, you kind of just have to build it on your own. So you can just come into image. Let's go ahead and just choose. Let's just choose. No, I don't want it to be the same again. You could choose something like this. Okay, quickly. Okay, so here you don't necessarily have to add in caption. So this is what I would do. I would just add the image. And then, oop, excuse me. And then come down here. You can add a block and just go down to content and text and add whatever you want to using the image above. Answer following question. Add block. Add block. And then I would come down here to add. Which one did I would? There we go. Quiz. Do you want it to be graded? No. Yes, and show correct answers. Yeah, let's do retries. And then you can choose your own kind of question. So and then you could fill in everything. B is always located on the, oops. And then you can do stuff, just kind of making stuff up, right? Okay. Add block. And if you wanted to see how everything looked, publish. And then come and see how it looks. And then you can go back and edit things to be the way you want. Like if you wanted this to be in bold, underlined, more clear, if you wanted to center the image. If you wanted to do like an entire quiz bank after this, you could do that. And now let me go back to editing. A lot of these I didn't always use. Like I don't think I ever used, I didn't ever use the graphing or the graphic organizer. Did use the poll, the quiz bank is good. Surveys are good. And you can also insert your own videos and stuff as well. You really do have endless options. And like I said, like a lot of them are pretty intuitive. CourseArc really wants people to use their products, so they try to make it as user-friendly as possible. So a lot of this I just kind of discovered by playing around in here and going back and editing as I needed to, like when I would figure out how like the labeling issues, things like that. So I would kind of have to go back in and troubleshoot as things came along. CourseWork is also really great about feedback. So Dr. Kaiser, who I was working under, would always let me know if I encountered a real problem with CourseArc to email them or email her about it so that she can give them feedback. And they would typically fix issues within a few days. Like they would get on things very fast. Because of this, you would also notice that as you're going in to edit things, sometimes functions would change from the last time you used them. So you could always tell, oh, CourseArt got some feedback from someone and they went in there and tried to make something better. So you're always kind of relearning things. But like I said, it's all really, really user friendly. The other things you can do is if you wanted to change things, like edit how things are laid out, you can come in here and move. And there you can see how it kind of changed the editing screen. You can then go back and say, I want this to be right there, and it'll refresh. And then you can always go back in and move things again, and it'll go back. Um, let's do, let's, move that below. See, the other thing that you could do is say you were going to add a new page. This was just going to be body of the work, say. Come in and edit and going ahead and add the block. But say something from your introduction page, you actually wanted to move into your body. If you go to edit, click on copy to clipboard, come over here to the body, edit this page, paste from clipboard, image hotspots. It'll just move things. So that way you don't have to um, constantly be making new things. And as long as it's copied to your clipboard, you can move it anywhere. You could even just come up here to make a whole new page and move it over there. So yeah, CourseArt. And then if you wanted to do the preview as well, it takes you to a new page. And this is kind of how like a student would see it or how it would more appear in Canvas. And this is kind of the final version of how things look. See, some of the images get really big. So I would always kind of take that into consideration too, and then go back and edit things if I needed to, because it can be kind of almost overwhelming when something is like that big. But yeah, I would just kind of play around with things, see how um, all of the pages function. It is user friendly, so play around with them, but you can always just email me if you are running into a real issue that you can't figure out. I can try to troubleshoot it with you for sure. But I would really just get in there and play around with it. It's the best way to learn it. And just let me know if you have any specific questions. And yeah, good luck. I had a lot of fun working in CourseArc. It was really beneficial. I kind of learned as I went along, and sometimes I would look up tutorials on YouTube as well. So I would definitely suggest that too if you need to, but just email me if you do have any questions. And good luck. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.